Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from MouseSteps.com.
And this is episode number 540 of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel, as well as Universal Fan Travel, because MEI Travel also specializes in universal travel. So check them out. Head to their website for that no obligation quote, especially if you're looking for like the Universal Grand Helios Hotel, which is also a Lowe's hotel, just like others on property. And it's right there at Epic Universe.
And you got to tour it. You've been inside.
I have been inside. It's the biggest thing is the location and those park view rooms with those amazing views.
So let's start talking about part 2 of your tour. We're going to go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. Here is the portal.
And I just want to say this is the third Wizarding World at Universal Orlando.
Yeah.
And I still remember it changed Islands of Adventure and the Universal Orlando Resort forever when they added Wizarding World, because I was at Islands of Adventure opening day and preview days and after that, and you have like before Harry Potter
Exactly.
and after Harry Potter. And so this is 1920s Paris. We're heading to Paris tomorrow.
I'm wondering who...
No, actually, it would have been a week ago because
right.
we're recording
but as
this.
we record this, and look at, this is so you. I mean, I'm thinking this is a place that you're going to want to spend a lot of time just exploring the Paris area.
And I haven't yet. Like we were on, and I mentioned last show, this is a guided tour. We actually did not spend a lot of time on the exterior of the Wizarding World here, so... I can't wait to go back and really explore. Like, I didn't see any exterior entertainment. I haven't read all the signs, and I want to.
I'm very interested in the
dining,
restaurant.
yes,
yeah, the dining.
Me too, yes. And there's just so much to see and do here. Plus, like, they gave us a wand, but we didn't do anything yet with it. So we'll use it
bring
there.
the wand and put that to use.
And all the signs are in French, so I can read some of them, and it's...
You have been taking some French for over a year, working hard.
Off and on for years, I've taken French.
Why don't you give a free shout out of who you're learning it from?
Oh no, I like to learn French with Alexa. I've been, I had used another program before, but if you just go to YouTube, learn French with Alexa, and then you can also pay and get more of the courses.
That's what you've been doing.
Right. So I haven't had much time the last couple of months to do it because we've been busy with a family member in and out of the hospital. But I do recommend Learn French with Alexa. That's my favorite way to learn French.
So let's get back to the streets of Paris where we're walking right now.
And I can't wait to try, like, we have the 2 preview days and opening day that we're planning to visit. So
we've booked them, so
yes.
We better go.
So yes, so I'm looking forward to trying the various restaurants and checking out all these shops and everything that we passed by.
You
just
can
having
sit out here for a drink,
it's just
a
like,
little wine.
It's just really like being in Paris right there, right? When you are in Paris, you want to be outside in a table, and that's how we like to do it.
It's so nice. I'm just loving, even though you say that you didn't have, and I know you really didn't have a lot of time outside, but the first thing you did, I think it was the first, no, maybe the second, is you saw the show. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the show that you saw?
Well, we saw the Cirque Arcanus, and I mentioned also last show, that it is really better to be in the land for a while, to me, and really soak up the atmosphere.
Sort of get into the story,
yes.
The immersion of it all.
Because we kind of, we headed to Ministry of Magic pretty quick, and then straight into the show. So, like, we didn't really have a lot of time out. I mean, it looks like we had a lot of time outside, but it wasn't very much. There was so much I would have liked to have seen. So I really recommend, like, deep diving into lands and then seeing the show. And I just, like, you want to feel like you're part of a story.
But, it doesn't always work that way.
No, but
like
if you
have early morning entry,
if you can,
you're going to run right to that ride.
Oh, wait.
You're not going to fool around walking.
But after that, do your deep dive. Like, we were in, like, Dark Universe, and then we were in Isle of Berk, and then we were over here. Like, we didn't really deep dive. And I think with Universal Epic Universe, it really helps to do that, to get into the story and then enjoy the attractions and the shows.
I just want to say, I just
He's
saw
offering me the butterbeer.
I was going to say, I just saw the butterbeer cart, so that sounds delightful.
Yes. So I'm looking forward to having some butterbeer there as well.
Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry. You were one of the first guests ever to ride this thing. I don't think it was open previous to this day.
No, it wasn't open on this day except for media tours. The queue,
I believe the queue was open though previously.
The
you
queue
could
is,
walk
yes.
through the queue.
Like guests were able, the it's team members and their families have been able to be here, and I kept hearing like, we went through the queue. The ride wasn't open, but we got to go through the queue. I'm like, how good of a queue could it be? It's amazing. It is. No, honestly, it is the best queue for a ride in my life, and I've been going to theme parks for like 50 years. It's the best one that I have personally ever been in. Like, I would walk around and be like, wow.
I've heard it compared to like, it's an attraction unto itself. Just the queue.
It is. And, I don't know that I'd want to spend hours in it, but if you're going to spend hours in a queue, this is a queue I'd want.
Now, are we now in the Paris Metro? Are we in the Metro here?
You can see, well, they call
it looks very much like
it's the Metro Flu. And I am not a big Harry Potter. Like, I have not seen every film. So
right.
we've
working
started,
on
it.
And yes. We're enjoying them, but we're kind of late comers to it.
Yes. So, but the Flu Network, the mode of wizarding transportation in which a witch or wizard went from one place to another by means of flu powder and a fireplace, but we're doing it via this metro. And then, the queue goes on and on and on. Like, that's the one thing. But once we come into here, I am like, wow.
and you actually say that. If you watch the video, you're like, wow. Right here, as you come in and see all this, you're making all these sounds that I didn't expect.
I just, it's just so impressive to come through here.
And look at all these rooms. Like, they all look like they could be lived in.
Well, they're offices, right? And so you're heading to the British Ministry of Magic, where Dolores Umbridge is about to stand trial. And there's also, tons of tiles here, 80,000 subway tiles, and the British Ministry of Magic has over 125,000 tiles in 5 colors. They put a lot of effort into this. And so it just is an amazing sight.
Now, normally, I think I read somewhere where this queue could hold up to something like a 7 or an 8 hour wait. That's how much queue there is. Did it seem that massive to you when you walked through it?
How many?
Up to seven, maybe over 7 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's how long, because it's hard in video to get a sense of just how massive this is.
And there's also this huge fountain, the Fountain of the Magical Brethren. So as you're, walking through, it just, this place is huge. I can't, even in video, you can't really tell how big when, it's like going on Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, and all of a sudden you have the stormtroopers, it's like a wow moment. This is like a wow after wow.
You actually kept saying wow when you watched the video. We have the full video, and I'll link to that, of the whole experience without commentary, just with natural sound.
And this is, again, from somebody who is not, as knowledgeable as many others on Harry Potter, but we are working our way
and Fantastic
through it.
Beasts, we've been watching. We watched all 3 of those,
and I really enjoyed those.
So one of the questions I was going to ask you is, as somebody who is not a Harry Potter aficionado, were you fully, I think you told me this might have been your favorite attraction. You weren't sure, but you said it was incredible.
No, you asked me.
You said it was incredible.
I did. But you said, is this your favorite
attraction? And you can never answer that because there's so many great attractions.
No, but they're all different. And you have to, and I'm just showing, more details here. When you take in the attractions, like here, you can't really compare this to some of the smaller, Hiccup swing gliders,
right?
Which is great fun. It is. So maybe on a ride basis, just for pure fun, that might be more fun for me. But as a whole, when you add in the queue and the attraction here, this whole experience,
is it better than the one in Dark
I don't know because I haven't
you haven't
gone to
seen
the
that
queue.
full queue. That's right.
No, I
That's
haven't
right.
seen like any
You told me
queue.
that last show.
Yes,
That's right.
I haven't seen the queue. It's really, I wish I did, but we will.
We will.
We have several days coming.
We certainly will. So go ahead.
So right now you're looking like there's signs and there's also portraits that are talking and moving. Like right here, you can see the various portraits and they're like talking amongst each other.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. And I think it would be even more meaningful if we knew who all the characters were.
And we will. We will. I know some of the characters, but not all of them.
So getting back to the attraction itself, you kept telling me that it reminded you in a way of the Spider-Man attraction. How is that?
The part in the Spider-Man, the ride itself, the part in the Spider-Man where you are lifting up into the air.
Kind of like you're going in an elevator almost, like the ride
well, you
vehicle.
are like that. Yeah. So like when you're going up, but then, that reminds me so much of the experience.
And what is the motion situation? How is it for people with motion?
I don't get motion sickness, so I'm not sure. But
you had no problem with it.
I didn't have any problem with it, but I did talk to somebody who felt a little sick. So
disoriented, maybe.
No, well, they said they felt a little sick. Okay. So there are going to be people who can't do it or will have a little issue.
For me, Forbidden Journey, the first time I went on it, I actually felt very dizzy, very woozy. So that kind of the Kuka arm thing was hard for my body to get used to. But this is not that. This is a completely different attraction style.
And Universal has, like you ride a ride, it might remind you of another ride. So, but like the Spider-Man ride doesn't bother me and this ride doesn't, bother me at all. And we're still walking through. There's all these little, like, each area has details, and it feels like you're going to be done with the queue soon, but then you're not done.
And there were even animatronics, or at least one animatronic, I believe, that you see at some point in this queue.
In the queue, I don't remember now. There's so much. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Higgledy. Yes,
right.
And that is a new character for Epic Universe for, the attraction.
Okay, that's very interesting. I mean, how incredible is that to have an animatronic created just for the line?
Right, and she is a house elf or a former house elf of Dolores Umbridge, and she is cleaning her office. So I assume we're going to see her pretty soon.
So while we're just watching some of the queue here that you have, let's just talk in general about your experience, about the whole Epic Universe experience.
No matter what attraction it is that I rode, and I have not ridden, there's probably 4 attractions I have not ridden.
Right.
Like, something like that. It always felt like there was something extra that I never expected as far as like animatronics or...
You said that last show, like everything was plus, where...
Everything felt plus.
It's more than you expect.
Yes.
Sort of like the old Walt Disney way, give them more than they expect.
Right. So like with Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry, you have not only like screens and such, but you have the physical, you have the animatronics. And, there are times when I didn't expect, like physical, so when we rode in Dark Universe, Monsters Unchained, of course you knew there was going to be 14 animatronics, and there are screens there too. But here, I wasn't sure exactly, what we were going to see, and so I was expecting mostly screen-based, but there was also, physical as well.
And and I guess there's even animatronics.
Look at that.
There's there's an animatronic of Harry Potter and the characters in the attraction.
Yeah,
and voices, like everything.
Yeah, and really just, it's so amazing to be able to see more. Again, I feel like theme parks have gone so much screen-based, but now we're seeing more of the physical, like the animatronics. I mean, there are a lot of animatronics
that you've seen in the park, right?
Yes,
totally.
Yes, and I mean, it's just nice to see that, but also the queue is just. I mean, there's so many little details. Like if you're like a Harry Potter fan, you're going to be like reading everything. And so It's just, and I am not even like a big Harry Potter fan. I'm not.
And again, that's what the big question was. You were still able to fully enjoy.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I
and
loved
without
it.
being a huge fan. You know who the characters are for most of them.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
don't know the backstory as much.
No, I haven't seen all the films, so that's okay. But as somebody who loves theme parks and detailed queues and everything, I just, have been blown away.
Yeah, it is. It's incredibly impressive. Now, I think we're about to get to the animatronic that we talked about earlier, and here she is.
And that is the Higgledy, and she is here as a house elf in Dolores Umbridge's office, which is very pink and very gold. And so, she welcomes you here as well, so you can hear that in the video.
Yeah, I thought it was very impressive. I enjoyed that. And again, we don't talk over that, so I will certainly link the full queue to the end of the show.
And I mean, Universal did say that they had, had the animatronic here, so it wasn't 100% like a surprise. But you get there, and it's like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, for a line.
Yeah, I mean, again, I didn't understand when people were like, oh, well, I got to walk through the queue, and it's like, this is a queue. Like, this is, it is like an attraction. And, if we got through it and didn't ride the ride, like, I feel like I've seen, I've enjoyed at least half of what I'd enjoy.
And that kind of
more.
happened, right? You went through here, and there was the ride wasn't quite ready when you got to it.
It wasn't working at the moment that we got there, so I wasn't sure if we were going to be riding or not. But I was like, well, at least we made it through the queue, because it's really amazing.
So again, back in general, just talking about your day, you did all the lands. How much walking was it really?
Well, we talked about that last show, and I think I said I had done about 13,000 steps only that day, which is not high for me. So it felt like we were walking more than my Fitbit said.
In this queue, are there a lot of steps to maneuver, or is it mainly flat walking?
There are steps.
Because somebody had asked that also.
Oh, there are
our
steps.
Video questions.
Yeah, and I mean, Universal has a lot of attractions, right? Especially, I think, in the Harry Potter areas that have steps, and this one does as well.
But even with the steps, I guess it didn't add up to your step count.
But I would assume they must have a, I haven't looked, like an elevator.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, we walked, but I guess it just didn't add up as much as I thought at the time. You can see the steps right there.
Well, maybe you did waiting around also.
Yeah, we did. It feels like you're walking a lot, and I don't know why, but it wasn't so bad.
So at this point, how close are we to the actual attraction? Oh, I see some of those steps that we are talking about now.
I think it's not that far at this point. I mean, it's actually, I don't think it's too far at this point. I think it's actually kind of like down the stairs.
Okay, so very, very soon then, we're going to see the ride vehicles.
But look at this, it's just everywhere. And you can see here, it shows you as far as the attraction on that sign as well.
And usually when you get to stairs like this, that means you're going up, over, or under the ride track.
Do you see it like
I do. There's
from
movement.
a distance?
Yes.
So it's showing the, the attraction ahead of time, how it works.
Interesting. It's kind of giving you an idea of what you're getting into.
Right.
And now after all that, we are finally getting ready to board the ride.
And we waited, let's say 15, 20 minutes. Like, it wasn't working at the time that we arrived. So we were just kind of waiting, and we were watching and I don't know exactly how long, but we were watching the ride cars go past and the ride cars go past. And eventually it stopped, and they opened it for us.
And it looks like it holds a good amount of guests.
There's 14. The ride vehicles seat up to 14 people.
And is this one of those rides where you can keep all your materials with you?
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, and I know we mentioned last show that it was surprising that there were some more attractions than I expected. That we didn't have to use lockers for. I only used lockers in the rides I did twice.
Which is pretty amazing, really. Especially Universal is known for lots and lots of lockers.
Yes, and there are some, like I did not do Stardust Racers, so that would be one that does.
So is there a big difference from the, in your opinion, from the front row to the back row? It
I
almost
have
looks
no
like
idea.
a Tower of Terror
Right.
type of a vehicle here.
I did not ride the back. I was in the front.
Okay,
So
all right.
it was very comfortable, and it does move a lot. It moves like the up and the down, the forward, sideways. It felt like, to me, it felt like a lot more up and down, at least the first time. I've ridden it only once, so the first time I rode, I just felt like I was going up and down a lot.
And it seemed to have arrived sideways. So when it first starts, you're going sideways, and then does it go forward at any
I
point?
don't.
Oh, you don't
Yes,
even know?
no, forward, yes, but I don't remember, like, I've only ridden it once, so I.
Well, that's one more time than I have,
Yes.
so I'm very curious.
But hopefully, hopefully in the coming weeks we'll have gone on it a number of times, and we can talk about it further, at least amongst ourselves.
So, of course, any good ride will lead right into the gift shop.
And not all the rides do. So I think this was the only gift shop that I actually was in. And and that's something else I can't wait to really,
Take a look at more of the
explore.
merchandise, or see the merchandise.
Yeah, and I've been in one restaurant, so I'm looking forward to really, when we go, exploring all of that.
Definitely. I did see there was one shirt, I think it was the Metro Flu, that was on a shirt that was pretty neat that you show in this.
I actually, like some of the merchandise,
Yeah, there you go.
But because we're walking through it fairly fast, I didn't want to just like quickly pick something up and buy it. I just, I want to think
And
about
look at this, we're back in Paris, and you're going to get some really fun close-up shots of some of these, the detail here. It really looks like Paris to me.
Well, right, it does. See, I mean, they modeled it. There's even an area with like soccer car. I don't even know if I saw that. I don't recall even
I couldn't
seeing
find that
it,
in
right.
your video at all.
So,
I like these
unfortunately.
details up here. So we are about to switch gears and go into the final land here. It is Super Nintendo World, and as you mentioned, sometimes it's a bit jarring when you go from world to world.
Right. I mean, you're going from, let's say, from 1920s Paris to Super Nintendo World is completely different. That's why I said, stay in one land as long as you can, and really just explore it.
Now, I didn't expect that you were going to be taking an elevator to enter, so I guess it's a one-way going in, because certainly you're not going the other way. There must be a different portal to leave the land.
Not a different portal, just a different elevator, probably.
Okay, well, I don't know.
I don't even remember leaving. I really wasn't here too long.
It's quite the entrance, though. It's, at least on video, it's impressive. And I know when and I just did this not long ago. I edited this together, and there's our
and
friends.
we know them, yeah.
When you get out and when you get outside, it's pretty massive. I mean, there's so much to see. Your eyes don't know what to look at. It's very, very much going on there.
Well, I did not have Nintendo growing up. I had Atari. So the characters, through the years, I've come to some familiarity with them. I don't think I've ever played Nintendo before.
I'm sure you haven't.
And I was trying to watch some of the, like the Super Nintendo movie, but I haven't even had a chance to sit down with that, with everything going on lately. But that's something that we also need to do, especially before we come for opening day.
Right, to get the full full enjoyment out of it. I think that's important.
But while I was here, and I wasn't here for long, just like the other lands, I didn't really see character. Like I know Toad was walking around, and we had heard that Donkey Kong will eventually meet here. But there's a Toadstool Cafe, which is also in Universal Hollywood, and then you have the Donkey Kong Country area, and we rode the minecart. Madness.
That's the one that's most interesting to me, because when you're riding it, it does jumps and things, so it looks like you're jumping off the track.
It looks like, but it doesn't feel like it.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like you're
You said
jumping.
it was very bumpy. Is that right?
It's a little rough. So.
And there it goes. You got some really fun clips of it, kind of looking like it's jumping over water and off the track and things like that.
In this day and age, I don't think you need to have too bumpy of a ride, too
Look
rough
at that
of a
thing.
ride. Yeah. And so it isn't one like Hiccups wing gliders that I would ride often. I would ride that one often if nobody was there, I'd ride over and over again.
So
'Cause
this
I enjoy
wouldn't
it.
be your first thing that you run to.
It
the
would
mine
be
car.
toward the end.
Okay.
It's cute. It isn't bad. It's just that it's a little
There's
rough.
other things that are much better in your
That
for
I
you.
I personally enjoy more. Yes.
So is there anything else you want to talk about here? I mean, I know you didn't spend as much time in the land. I would be interested in the characters. They weren't out when you were there, but I look forward to seeing them.
Well, you can see there's
There's a shop?
Well, not only the shop, but you have like these reliefs, and there's also a fountain over here. So there's so much to look at. Like if you love, like some people really, a lot of people really love Super Nintendo, and the characters. There's so much to look at, and again, like there's like several attractions here, plus Toadstool Cafe and experiences that you could spend hours and hours there.
So unbelievable. That is another show. We have a lot more to talk about. And we'll come back. Next show, we're going to be talking about Disneyland Paris, the music festival. That's why we're going out there to cover that. And also the anniversary is coming up for Disneyland Paris on April 12th. We'll be there for that. But when we return, we're going to be going to Epic Universe 3 times, 2 preview dates and opening day. And we hopefully will be staying at the Helios Grand Hotel. We'll have a lot to talk about with all of that. So there will be plenty more Universal coverage in our future, I'm sure.
Yes, but for now,
Now
this
it's
is
time
a
to turn our
couple-
attention to Disneyland Paris goodness.
Yes, but we really appreciate Universal Orlando inviting us out. We stayed a couple nights at. They invited us to the Stella Nova Hotel.
Nice hotel.
It was nice, yeah, comfortable, and it's more of a value style hotel. And the restaurant, I don't have it in front of me, Cosmos Cafe, I keep thinking it's called.
That pasta,
The pasta was so
fantastic.
good and such a big portion. And even though you look at it and it's like, oh, that's kind of expensive, it was a big portion. We could split it easily, and we each felt like we had a meal between the two of us, and it was good. And the pizza was pretty good, and to me, a higher quality than a lot of theme park hotel food.
So we want to thank our sponsor, MEI Travel, Mouse Fan Travel, and
Universal.
especially Universal Fan Travel for our show today.
Head to their website and fill out that no obligation quote, and it's very exciting. It isn't every day that you have a whole new, exciting theme park opening up here in the Central Florida area. I mean, it isn't very often at all. And, over the years, we have both seen Universal expand over the years. And I still remember when it opened, we had 2 new, you probably remember this, right? 2 new, I lived in Florida, 2 new movie theme parks coming. It was an exciting time. We had Universal, and then we had Disney's Hollywood Studios. They were both coming.
Universal was announced first, but MGM opened first. So it was very interesting. They really rushed getting MGM finished so they could be the first movie park.
And then, but Universal, you had to ride the movies. So like E.T. was not, like I had seen it in the theater just a number of years earlier than when it opened.
Oh, they had the Ghostbusters opening, the Confrontation. There were a lot of classic rides, attractions back then.
And just an amazing time. And then of course,
Back to the Future.
And then
that didn't open with the park though.
No. And then you had Islands of Adventure then, which came, and I still remember that. And it really wasn't a very popular opening at all. There was almost nobody there on opening day from what I recall. However, over the years, again, Harry Potter, just made Universal what it is now.
Well, there's that one helicopter shot of all those people in line waiting that first
like
opening day of
7
Harry
hours.
Potter. That was incredibly busy.
It's been very exciting to see how they've expanded, through the years. And I can't wait to hear what guests think about Universal Epic Universe. Like, I can't imagine, if you go there, there's like there's going to be a favorite place for people. Like, I'm not sure which one's going to be my favorite. I love Paris, so it could be Wizarding World, Ministry of Magic, but also I love Burke, so we'll see.
So that is another show. Thanks again for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.